Well, good morning, all of you who remembered to set your clock and were willing to get up what seemed like an hour earlier today. Welcome to our Sunday service. Let's start the service by reading our mission statement that's on the front of your bulletin. We are a sanctuary where people can discover and reveal the presence of God within their own being and experience their oneness with all life. Through the realization of this inner presence of love and peace, we give way to the evolutionary impulse of the divine and become a beneficial presence in the world. So that's what we are doing here at Living Beyond Limits, is we are awakening to the truth that we are primarily spiritual beings, that we come from spirit, we are of spirit, and that spirit expresses itself in and through each and every single one of us. And what happens is when we come to recognize that we are that incarnation, that out-picturing of spirit, then we know that we can never be separate or apart from that which spirit is. That which spirit is lives within us and is part of our spiritual makeup. That means then that peace is always within us, regardless of what's happening out here in the world, that love is always within us, whether people are acting loving towards us or not, that the truth of who we are is wholeness, is power, is beauty, is magnificence, and it gives us access to those qualities then when the world is not reflecting those things to us. So it actually puts us at a place of choice, which puts us in a place of power. And as we choose to come from our own spirit in this world, then we act as a beneficial presence and as a healing presence in this world. So I thank each and every one of you for answering the call of your own spirit, to be walking this path, to be bringing your light into this world where it is so needed. And so thank you for that. Well, today we are continuing with the season for nonviolence and looking at ways that we can create greater peace within ourselves and in our relationships and in the world at large. We've been doing that for the past, 6 or 8 weeks or something like that. And as we all know in this room, it seems as if things outside of us are becoming ever more violent as we are now engaging in war with Iran. And so I would actually like to start today with a poem that is called "We Start with Peace" by John Rodell. I can't make the world peaceful. I can't prevent children from having to hide behind desks. I can't deflect a sniper's bullet from turning a wife into a widow. I can't convince the news to stop turning war into a video game. I can't silence the sounds of bombs tearing neighborhoods apart. I can't stall tanks from roaring down the road. I can't turn a guided missile into a bouquet of flowers. I can't make a dictator have an ounce of empathy. I can't convince politicians to quit playing truth or dare. I can't stave off a schoolyard shooting reduced to ash and rubble. I can't do any of that. The only thing I can do is to love the next person I encounter without any conditions or strings. To love my neighbor so fearlessly that it starts a ripple that stretches from one horizon to the next. I can't force peace on the world, but I can become a force for peace in the world. Because sometimes all it takes is a single lit candle in the darkness to start a new movement. Oh, Spirit, let me be a candle of comfort in this world. Let me burn with peace. I know that all of us in this room, we want peace in the world. We want peace in our lives. We want peace in our neighborhoods, in our communities. And we want to be able to contribute to good and to peace. We want to be able to participate in creating peace and unity in this world and in our country. We want peace in our families. We want peace in our relationships. We want peace in our places of work and in our communities. And sometimes when things so big are happening in the world, we can feel helpless or we can feel inadequate because we can't actually do anything bigger than what we can do. We can't do anything that actually affects global change. We can't bring peace at large, manifest peace into this world. We can't stop wars from raging. We can't fix it all, even though we'd really like to fix it all. But what we can do when things are far from our reach, when we can't actually touch them, is we can pray and we can hold in consciousness peace and wisdom and brotherhood and wisdom and intelligence, knowing that they are present, knowing that they are available, and knowing that they can emerge in any given moment, in any circumstance. And yet, as we do that, we still sometimes feel inadequate. But what if right now your true and overriding job is to create peace in your immediate environment? What if you are being called to bring love into any and every situation that you find yourself in? What if the task at hand is simply for you to bring your authentic best into whatever it is that you are doing in your life? What if that is how your spirit is calling you? What if that is how that infinite presence is calling you in this moment? That's what you're being called to do. Ernest Holmes said, "There is ever pressing against us the dynamic force of which paints the sunset, causes the soft glow of the evening twilight, that sings in the birds and plays in the child, and proclaims itself at the level of our recognition of it. Every person is an outlet for the divine." Perhaps our immediate environment, what is right close to us in any moment, is how we are being called to give way to that divine presence that paints the sunsets. Which leads me, though, still to the question, do you in your life ever feel like you're just somehow not enough? Does that live back here? That somehow you're just not good enough? Does that come to mind sometimes? Yeah. I think it's kind of a part of the human condition, at least in the West. I don't know if they have that in the East, but certainly in the West, I think most of us have that comes up. Buckminster Fuller said, "Never forget that if there weren't any need for you in all your uniqueness to be on this earth, you wouldn't be here in the first place." And never forget, no matter how overwhelming life's challenges and problems seem to be, that one person can make a difference. Can make a difference in the world. In fact, it is always because of one person that all the changes that matter in the world come about. So be that one person. The truth is, you are enough. You are enough in this moment. In the tradition of Taoism, the inner world, our inner world, is primary. That they teach that what one believes about themselves quietly shapes every action, every relationship, every choice. What we believe about ourselves shapes our actions and our choices. Taoism teaches that when we stop trying to force ourselves to, quote, be better or to be, quote, different, it is then when we stop doing that we actually act from a deeper wisdom. It is then that we bring forward that deeper wisdom that naturally serves us and that naturally serves the world. I would say that's when we have a recognition of our wholeness, of our enoughness. We come to life differently when we're grounded in our enoughness. We have much to give from that place. So the truth is that you are enough in this moment to make a positive impact on the world. Simply by being yourself. When we cease judging ourselves and cease comparing ourselves and cease telling ourselves that somehow there's something wrong with us or something missing or something lacking, then what happens is more of the creative potential and wisdom and love and peace. All of those things can come through us out into our relationships, out into our conversations, out into the world. Because we're giving it permission when we let go of all that yucky stuff that we hold about ourselves. When we are our authentic selves and allow ourselves to be our authentic selves, then in our allowing, we are always enough. Do you get that? When we come from our whole self, our human self and our spiritual self, then we bring with us love and care and joy and inclusion, and we bring good into the world naturally. And the reason and the way that we are able to do that then is because we feel safe in ourselves. And when we feel safe in ourselves, then we can let our defenses down. Then we can show up with an open heart. Then we don't have to protect ourselves because we're safe in here. So the problem really is that we think we need to be more than we are. And the problem underneath that is really our self-judgment and our self-criticism and our comparing ourselves to others. And then the other piece of the problem really is that we forget who we are. We forget that we are incarnations of goodness itself. We are incarnations of love and wholeness and peace. When we are grounded in that authentic self and we know who we are, then, and when we know that we are connected to each other, regardless of what country you live in, regardless of what religion you're part of, regardless of what you believe, but we're still connected to each other, and when we recognize that we are enough, that we have enough, that there is enough in the world, then we automatically reach out to others with care and with a generosity of spirit and with compassion. That means then, if we come to the world differently when we know who we are, that means then that we have a need within ourselves to know that we are enough. We have a need within ourselves to feel good about ourselves because we come to the world differently then. Because when we do that, we actually give way to a richer and a fuller and a more loving rendition of ourselves. That comes forward. And in turn, then what happens? We create peace where we go. We bring greater good where we go, and we bring that peace and that good into our environment. And so there is a story. It says, everyone in town knew Amos for how he showed up, for his good deeds. When Mrs. Calder's basement flooded at 2 a.m., Amos showed up in rubber boots and a flickering flashlight. He pumped water until dawn without saying a word about sacrifice or service. When she tried to pay him, he waved it off and asked her if she'd eaten breakfast. When the new cashier at the market rang up a customer wrong and started to cry, Amos waited quietly in line while others groaned. He told a bad joke, so bad that it eventually looped back around to funny. The line seemed to move faster after that. Someone once asked Amos why he was the way he was. He shrugged. Truth leaks out. He said, might as well make sure it leaks in the right direction. He never claimed to be anything other than average, but people noticed that when he left a room, it felt steadier, kinder, like something invisible had been put back where it belonged. The people of the small town knew they were seeing goodness in action, walking around, carrying groceries, holding doors, telling terrible jokes, and loving people when no one was watching. Goodness made visible. So the title of my message today is Your Authentic Best. And I'm talking about bringing our authentic best, our authentic self, to all it is that we do. To every conversation, to every relationship, to whatever it is we happen to be doing in that particular moment. Bringing the fullness of our authentic and best self. And I'm also talking about several things that we can do in order to allow that to happen. And so I think in order to be our best selves and to bring our authentic selves to our life, one of the things that is required is for us to recognize that we are more than our personality. We are more than our thoughts, more than our feelings, more than what we've experienced, more than our story, more than what's happened to us. That's a part of you, all of those things, but it's not who you are. I think another part of our job is to practice mindfulness, to recognize when we are coming from a negative or limited belief, that when we are coming from an inaccurate belief. You know, we have been indoctrinated as children with all kinds of beliefs that we still hold on to that aren't true. And sometimes we continue to act out of those just out of habit. One of those ideas that we have been indoctrinated with, I think, is the idea of otherness. That person who doesn't think like you, or act like you, or believe like you, is not a part of your kin. It's not a part of your family. And that is simply not true. The truth is, too, that we treat other people with love and kindness, not because of who they are, but because of who we are. I think we have been indoctrinated with ideas of competition, that if someone is going to take yours if you don't get it first. And we bring that into all sorts of arenas in the world, from people having rights that's somehow going to affect someone else's rights, from someone having good in the world that somehow it's going to affect yours. I saw a yard sign the other day that said, equal rights for others does not mean fewer rights for you. It's not pie. But we do that. We think someone's going to take what could be ours and then we're not going to have any. But your life is not pie. Your life instead, the life that you are living, is the life of spirit. And it is boundless. It is filled with potential. Its nature is good, and its nature is to unfold itself as an abundance of good in this world. You are sourced and supplied by an infinite power, an infinite potential that is always for you, always for your thriving, always for your flourishing, always for you living your best life. So our job is to then notice when we are coming from a lack consciousness and to remind ourselves that we live in a universe that is founded on absolute unending potential and creativity. That this universe is filled with an opulent abundance of good, enough for everyone on the planet. There's no lack in this world. To remind yourself that life itself is constantly unfolding, that is its nature, and your life is the life of the divine. There's no other life to live. Our job is also to recognize when we're coming from fear. Because when we're coming from fear, we hold tight and we don't bring our best selves to life. We don't live as our authentic full self when we're in fear. So when you find yourself acting from fear, practicing mindfulness and recognizing it, then you remind yourself that you're safe. You are safe because you are an eternal being. You are safe because nothing can harm or injure or destroy who you are. Who you are is forever intact, is forever enough, is forever safe. And when you find yourself having your buttons pushed, does anyone get their buttons pushed? Absolutely. When you get stirred up, when you're coming from an inaccurate belief, it's calling you to heal it. It comes up. It's never going to go away until you heal it. And one of the ways you heal whatever it is that's being triggered is, first of all, you bring it to the light of day and you recognize, oh, look, this is that thing my mom used to say to me when I was a kid. And now this other person is reminding me of that because it feels exactly the same as when my mom said that. You recognize it, you bring it to light for what it is. Oh, this is that thing. And then you tell yourself the truth about it. You pick it apart. That wasn't true. My mom was saying that because she was in a bad mood, or she didn't have enough, or she was in an abusive relationship, or she whatever. It had nothing to do with you. And then you tell yourself the truth. Whatever that truth happens to be in that moment. I am enough. I am lovable. I am a good person. I deserve to be treated with kindness. I don't know what the belief is that needs to be that you need to tell yourself. But the call is in that moment also to know that you are safe. I am safe here. When we know that we're safe, we don't have the tendency to react out of those buttons. I'm safe right here, right now. To know that you're enough. And all those things that I just mentioned, knowing that you're safe, knowing that you live in a universe that is filled with opulence, knowing that life is for you, all of those things enable you to be your authentic self. There's nothing to protect yourself from. All of those things enable you to be your authentic best. When we remind ourselves of who we are, that we are love in form, that we are wholeness in form, that we are eternal beings, when we remind ourselves of that, then we're able to be a beneficial presence in the world. because we're not as reliant on the world being how we would prefer it to be in order for us to be that. In the book This Thing Called You, Ernest Holmes said, "You already are a spiritual being. When your mind understands this and embodies its essence, that which you are in the invisible will become more apparent in the visible." When we know who we are inside of ourselves, all the good is easier to come forward. And so I'd like to invite you right now to join me in a meditation. And so if that feels comfortable for you, I invite you to go ahead and close your eyes and to take a letting go kind of breath. To become aware of that quiet center within you. The place within you where there is silence. The place within you that is always at peace. In this stillness, we open ourselves to the infinite. We move beyond our limited boundaries, our limited ego self. In this stillness, we expand. We expand into the vastness of pure being. Here lies the pure potentiality of the universe. Peace, wholeness. It is as we let go of our limited ideas about ourselves, who we are, that the infinite potential becomes readily available to us. Here, in this place of pure being, we grasp that the presence is always present. Here, awaiting our turning to it. Our soul knows this truth, for it is one and the same essence. One and the same essence as the infinite itself. As we merge and meld into this oneness, we have a sense of coming home. Our spirit says, yes, this is who I am. This is what I am. I am home. As we touch this truth of being, we expand. We become empowered. We realize that we are so much more than what our waking eyes perceive. Here in this communion, we know that infinite potential, peace, wholeness, boundlessness are ours. It is what we came from, and it is what we are sourced and maintained by. It is who we are. We live in this infinite potentiality. It is our life. We live and move and have our being in and as infinite potentiality. This is the I am of our being. And so we just rest in this I am presence within us for a moment. And so I invite you to begin to bring your awareness back to your body, feeling your feet on the floor, seat supporting you. And when you're ready, to open your eyes. And so my invitation to you is to daily take time to unplug from the problems of the world and the problems of your own life. And unplug from that and then reconnect with your own essential self, with your own beingness, with the part of you that knows. And you might do that through particular music. You might do that through poetry, through writing, through meditating, through spending time at the ocean or near a body of water. But find a way to reconnect with yourself. Take that time to reconnect with your essential self and then just breathe. And know that you are enough. And when you go to bed at night, notice where and how you have been successful that day at widening your circle, the circle of your heart, the circle of your spirit, to include more people, to include more situations that are in the circle of your spirit and your heart and what you are bringing to the world. And also notice where and how you have tightened your circle to exclude other people. Just notice. And bless others. And bless yourself. And bless this world. And be intentional about your moments. Decide not what you will do today, but decide instead how you will be today. Let us be a candle. Let us be a candle for the world, and let us be a candle of peace. So blessings to each and every single one of you as you bring peace and love and kindness and compassion and inclusion and all of those qualities of spirit into this world. I thank you. Your spirit thanks you, and really, life thanks you. So blessings to you. And so I invite you right now to join me as we turn our attention to the capital T truth. The truth that spirit is always right where we are. All that spirit is, not part of spirit, but all that spirit is, actually fills every single moment, fills every single spot on this planet, fills every spot in this entire universe with its beingness. And I recognize and know right now that its beingness is the very essence and principle of absolute intelligence. A creative intelligence and wisdom that permeates all things, that is the foundation of life itself. That wisdom and that intelligence that tells my body how to turn my breakfast into bone and tissue. The intelligence that holds the planets in their orbits. That same intelligence is everywhere present, in every single person, in every single moment, and right now it fills each person. It comes to the surface and reveals itself to each and every person as wise decisions, as decisions that serve the good, that serve the whole, that serve our own spiritual beingness. I know that love and peace and wholeness and power are right here where we are. And so today we lean into that, recognizing that we are here as expressions of that love, peace, power, and goodness. And so today we willfully and openly share that everywhere we go. For I claim and know right now that Spirit is having its way in and through each one of us. And in that, we act as a healing presence in this world. I speak this word about every single politician, knowing that the intelligence that holds those planets in their orbits right now is acting through them. Acting through their minds, through their choices, through their decisions. I recognize as the craziness is happening in the world that we are safe, that all is well with our souls, and that life is unfolding itself as evolution, as growth, as an upward spiral right now. That is what is happening. And so it is with a grateful heart that I release this prayer into that creative womb of spirit, recognizing that this is truth. And so I just keep my consciousness stayed there. And I let this go, and I say, and so it is. So I have some invitations for you. One is we're going to have a book club and discussion. If you would like to join us, we'd love to have you. It's based on Alan Levi's book, Theo of Golden. It's a novel about a profound impact a small, quiet acts of love and compassion can make in a busy world. We're going to schedule a meeting. Whoever wants to play, whoever reads the book, and then we'll schedule a meeting somewhere between March 30th and April 5th, depending on what day of the week and what time people are available. It would be super fun to get together and discuss it. If people aren't available, we could do it on Zoom, but it'd be great to get together and just have a good time and talk about the book and how it affects us in our lives and what it means. The last Sunday of this month is a fifth Sunday, and we are going to go to El Dorado Park Nature Center and do forest bathing, where we will have a short service and poetry and things like that, and then be in the silence and be in nature and allow ourselves to get filled back up by being in nature. That is in lieu of this service at 10 a.m., El Dorado Nature Center right off of Spring. We'd love to have you join us. It's not a hard walk. It's strolling and looking and standing and being. So don't think you have to be an exerciser in order to come. Our Sunday talks are available on our website and our YouTube page. They also land in your inbox. We invite you to share them. We invite you to check in on Meetup and say that you're coming, to follow us and like us and share the posts on Facebook and Instagram. And we have prayer support after service. If you would like prayer, will you raise your hand if you're a practitioner in this room? Practitioners are happy to sit down and pray with you over whatever your request is, and we have prayer shawls that you are welcome to take with you if that sounds like something you would like to do. And so my last invitation is repeat after me. Good fills my life now.
Good fills my life now.
I recognize it. I savor it. I love it. And I live it. And so it is.